Our next one is about beads, not just the kind you use to make necklaces with. Teresa Bush has met an artist over at Sparta that uses beads to decorate almost everything imaginable. Now, to master this craft, all you need are the right tools, the right talent, oh, and a lot of patience.
These are what they call a check bead. They're not uniform. Sometimes you'll need a bigger bead or a smaller bead. I just know when to flick them off and get the right size there.
Connie Steele is blessed with patience, and I don't mean just a little bit more than the average person. I mean a lot more than many of us could possibly imagine. Her craft as a bead artist demands it.
I just love the colors. I love the colors, and it's so tranquil to just sit there and pick up each one of those little beads. I'm just so excited to get a project done. I can't wait to get to the next one. And it doesn't make any difference if it's a project that takes a day or takes months to do. It's a very exciting thing to get up there and just get those beads out, and it's like coloring in that. It's like painting, but you're painting with beads.
Connie's love for the art of beadwork started in the late 1990s. Her husband is a mountain man reenactor, and Connie decided to join him. And along the way, she thought the best way to get proper attire was to make it herself.
This is definitely just a hobby, something that we did on the weekends, the reenactments, and then it became more of an obsession. I got books and I got videos and anything I could get my hands on, and I just studied it and just trial and error. I'm completely self-taught. There's schools that are out on the West Coast, but I don't know of any around here. I've tried to find teachers, and through not being able to find someone, I taught myself.
Connie is a great teacher. The proof is in her work. Some of it is proudly displayed throughout her log cabin. She makes a wide variety of tribal pieces, from traditional to contemporary, from knife sheaths, strike-a-light bags, smoke pipes, wall hangings, and oh yes, the clothes and the shoes.
My dress that we use for the reenactment.
Is that what you would wear, something similar to that?
Yes.
How much time in something like that?
That took me 2 years to make that.
You heard right, 2 years to make that one dress. And it took her several months to make the matching moccasins. I told you she had patience. And she has discipline. Connie's studio is in her home.
I usually start about 8 in the morning, and I usually don't quit until 8 or 9 at night. It just depends on how big the project is. I try to stay with that project till it's done. This is the same as having a job. I get up and I go to my job. It's just in my home. And I get up and I'm very faithful to it because it's so addicting.
On this day, we found Connie making a hat band on a loom. She takes one teeny tiny bead at a time, threads it through a needle, and then pushes them into place.
You really have to concentrate when you're doing this. When I first started out, I didn't even know how to read a graph. Everything was just, and people kept saying, you can't do it. I said, yes, I can. I go without a pattern. And that, because I didn't know that you had to read one.
Connie was also working on decorating a tribal tomahawk. Here, each bead is attached to the next one with thread. The leather is there to keep them from slipping off. This kind of work is tedious, it's time-consuming, and it's true to the time period. Connie says there's a story behind each item.
We're very much about history, and that is keeping the United States and keeping their artwork alive. And it's very important that we show the young people what was done 100, 200 years ago, until they're educated and they understand, and that they walk in and they think, oh, this has either been glued on or whatever, and they don't realize that there is a whole history behind what they're looking at.
Just a few years ago, Connie expanded her beadwork to include Victorian-style items. Brooches, neck purses, gloves, pillows, and of course jewelry. She says it was a natural transition.
Being a beader, you just want to keep expanding your knowledge and learning, and that was the next step.
What kind of response do you get when people see that?
They love it. That's, for most people that don't understand what they're looking at, the Native American, they do when they look at the Victorian. The Victorian is a more noticeable thing, and the ladies just love it. They ooh and they ah over the beads, and they can't wait to get a hold of it and feel it.
Connie believes if you own a beaded piece, tribal or Victorian, you may be moved on the inside as well as the outside.
I want them to be able to feel what I feel when I look at the beads and look at the beauty of the beads. Because there's just something about the beads that when you touch it and when you put them onto an item, that there's beauty in that.
All right, thanks, Teresa.